Hey everyone, welcome back. When it comes to self-driving cars, we think the robotaxi business could be worth $28 trillion by the end of the decade. Because of this, our Tesla valuation shows that we believe this area will bring in most of Tesla's value. Their current business model is based on selling an electric vehicle once. This will totally change when they add a robotaxi service that brings in repeated revenue. Robotaxis are very disruptive because they can be priced much lower than ride-hailing services and much lower than the cost of driving your own car, which in the US is about 70 cents per mile right now. Robotaxis could be as cheap as 25 cents per mile when used on a large scale, but we expect it to cost more at first. We look for companies like Tesla to have a compound annual growth rate (CAGR) of at least 15% over 5 years in order to pass our value test. When we do our first evaluation, we look at things like management and culture that are more subjective. This includes how we felt about the management team. Sam, why don't you start with Tesla? Yes, I will begin by saying that these qualitative numbers are very important. We'll talk about why we're confident in Tesla stock in this video. We'll focus on important issues like Tesla's robotaxi chances, the safety of self-driving cars, and the problems Tesla faces in the Chinese market. We'll also talk about Elon Musk's part in the growth of the company, especially with new projects like the MEAP pack section. We'll talk about the delays and hopes for Tesla's robotaxi network, how governments are becoming less worried about self-driving cars, and why it's important to use facts from more than one source. Lastly, we'll talk about how hard it is to figure out how much Tesla's self-driving car business is worth because of the low prices and unpredictable market trends. Ready? Let's take a close look at why experts think Tesla stock will go through the roof. This video is for people who are really interested in Tesla and the future of self-driving cars. Do not forget to like and subscribe to Tesla Stock News to get the latest news and information about Tesla. Let's jump right in. Now, let's talk about how likely it is that Tesla's robotaxi will actually happen and what the rules mean for Tesla's big plans. We'll also talk about the safety of self-driving cars, which is a hot topic because both possible customers and regulators care a lot about safety. China is a big market for Tesla, but there are some rules that make it hard to do business there. What does Tesla need to do to be successful there? Key man risk is another important factor that shows how much Tesla depends on Elon Musk. What will happen when he backs up? We'll talk about the risks that come with having such a key person in the business. How much is Tesla worth, and what do investors think its growth will be? Are they reasonable or too positive? Elon Musk has been saying for years that he will make a car that drives itself, but that promise hasn't come true yet. It's hard to reach full autonomy because it's not enough to just make a car that can drive itself. It also has to be safe to do so in all situations. Even with the delays, some researchers think that a robotaxi network could start up in the next few years based on safety data and a lot of study. However, not knowing when it will happen is still a big problem. In terms of rules, there is good news. Tasha Keeney from ARK Invest says that more states and countries are becoming open to the idea of self-driving cars. This is different from the past, when many countries were skeptical and wanted to put a lot of rules on them. One reason for this change is the scary rise in car crashes and deaths that are often caused by drivers who aren't paying attention, like those who are on their phones. Self-driving cars might make the roads safer by cutting down on mistakes made by people. This decrease in worries about regulations could be a big help for Tesla's plans. Anyone in the United States who hears this news might doubt Tesla's ability to release fully driverless cars because of the delays. You might feel hopeful that these futuristic cars are closer to becoming a reality now that governmental worries have been eased. Some people are also worried about how much they depend on Elon Musk and wonder what Tesla would be like without him. You might be cautiously optimistic about the future, seeing the chance for better roads and new ways to get around, but you're still waiting to see how things turn out. Kathy Wood from ARK Invest points out that self-driving cars are much safer than cars that are driven by people. Based on accident rates, study by ARK Invest shows that self-driving cars could be up to 80% safer. For example, Tesla's fully self-driving system is about 5 times safer than a Tesla that is driven by a person, and it's possible that safety will get even better in the future. Tasha Keeney stresses how important these safety changes are. Not only do fewer accidents make the roads safer, but they also lower insurance costs and boost trust in self-driving cars. This safety feature is important for people who care about road safety and the future of driving. It's another reason why ARK Invest is so optimistic about Tesla's plan for self-driving cars. But Tesla is having trouble with the rules in China right now. The company and the Chinese government are talking about whether or not data can be sent outside of China. China's rules on AI and self-driving cars could have a big effect on Tesla's business, so this is a touchy subject. Tesla needs to be able to deal with these rules and regulations in order to be successful in this huge market. Keeney also says that the result of these talks could set a standard for how multinational companies handle data and AI rules in China. There is a lot at stake, and how Tesla handles this could affect not only its future in China, but also how the industry handles data and develops AI in general. ARK Invest is keeping a close eye on these events because this is a very important time for Tesla. Tesla has room to grow in new areas, but there are still risks. Elon Musk is very important to the autonomous team's work toward a business launch. His leadership and ideas are very important to Tesla's success. It's hard to find a leader with Musk's vision, though, and the company's future growth depends on keeping this kind of new leadership. Losing Musk could be very dangerous. Vehicle technology and self-driving cars are making fast progress. It's true that Musk has done a lot to promote autonomy, but his work may not be as important in the future as new technologies and algorithms make autonomous cars more reliable and efficient. The enterprise value to adjusted EBITDA is also affected by things like stock-based pay and investments in research and development. This shows how much money Tesla is spending to stay ahead of the competition with its new products and future projects, especially in its MEAP pack division. Tesla looks like it will be able to make a lot more money. Plans call for adding a second MEAP pack plant in the next 6 to 8 months, which will mean more business in this area. This growth is expected to bring in a lot more money for Tesla and show how well the company can adapt to new markets and come up with new ideas. It's important to keep in mind the relatively low multiples being used when figuring out how much Tesla's self-driving car business is worth. Even with this cautious method, the business is expected to grow a lot by the 5th year, which makes it hard to figure out how much it's worth. It's hard to model self-driving cars and guess what the market will do in the future, but it's necessary to know Tesla's long-term potential and the real value of its unique work. In today's busy world, it's important to get knowledge from a lot of different sources and rely on facts. This method makes sure that you get a complete picture of any subject, especially in the tech field. Data-driven analysis and bold predictions give us insights based on real data instead of guesswork, which helps us make better choices and predictions. In the coming years, the start of Tesla's robotaxi network will be a big event to keep an eye on. There is, however, a very small chance that this start will happen soon, between 1% and 3%. Tesla has had problems in the past with its big projects, but even with these delays, a good robotaxi network would have a big effect. This shows how important it is to be patient and not have too high of hopes when it comes to new technologies. It is very important to think about the chances of things happening, especially when making long-term estimates. The idea that powered flight might not make big steps forward for 1,000,000 years is one of these bold predictions. This may come as a surprise, but it's a good lesson to think about a lot of different possibilities and factors when imagining how technology will change in the future. As an investor, the focus on facts and multiple sources may be welcome and essential in this age of fake news. You can trust the information you get more if you know that it comes from solid sources and a variety of points of view. You may feel both excited and skeptical about Tesla's robotaxi network. The fact that a launch isn't likely to happen soon shows how hard it is to carry out such big plans, but the effects that could happen are obvious. It's a reminder to keep your hopes up for new innovations while lowering your standards. It may seem unlikely that big steps forward in powered flight will happen for 1,000,000 years, but this shows how important it is to think about odds and the big picture. It makes people think more deeply about predictions about the future and new technologies.